What we're going to do is we're going to create two different gases. One of them is going to encourage this combustion process, and combustion requires oxygen. So it requires oxygen, fuel, and heat. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make some oxygen. This is hydrogen peroxide. This is a compound that's made up of hydrogen atoms and oxygen atoms. And this right here is a solution of hot water and yeast. This has an enzyme that's going to cause a chemical decomposition of the hydrogen peroxide, which is going to release the hydrogen and oxygen atoms. So we'll see right here, you'll start to see some bubbling. And what's going to come out of this process here, this decomposition, is oxygen. So those bubbles are oxygen that's being created there. Now in this other container, we're going to take some, I'm sure you guys have seen this one before, some baking soda and vinegar. And the result of this chemical combination is carbon dioxide. That's what's coming out of those bubbles right there. So what we're going to show with our little flame here is that this combustion process requires oxygen. It has to have oxygen to continue. And so if we, let's turn this off, if we put this burning piece of wood into this container, which is filled with carbon dioxide, let's see what happens. And then if we put this in an oxygen-rich environment, this should excite the embers, and this might, we gotta get rid of some of the bubbles there. Look at what happens when I touch the bubbles. It brings the flame back because those bubbles are pure oxygen. So it's feeding the combustion process. Isn't that crazy? And so I can go back and forth. This is where you're exciting or you're encouraging the combustion process. And then when we remove the oxygen by putting in the CO2, it removes the combustion process. This container has the carbon dioxide in it from this reaction, and carbon dioxide is heavier than air. So this container is actually filled with carbon dioxide, even though you can't see it because it's a clear gas. It's sitting in here just like a liquid would be, and we can show that by pouring it out just like we would a liquid. So we're going to pour this carbon dioxide. Did you see that? So it wasn't the liquid that went in there, it was the carbon dioxide gas that spilled out of this container, went into here, displaced all the oxygen, and put out the combustion process. There you go.